What's going on, everybody? Giant Sports Talk here. And the end of another basketball season for the Philadelphia 76ers has ended, and thank God. Tank Part 3 has concluded with the 76ers finishing with a very amusing 10 wins to 62 losses on the season. And it's no secret, the Sixers have been the laughingstock of the NBA for the past couple seasons. And we're heading into the offseason with a lot of uncertainty. After the firing of Sam Hinkie, there's a lot of questions about the future with the Sixers, especially right now with the rumors of Brett Brown possibly being fired. Now, it's tough to find positives with the Sixers, but if there's any, it's the draft picks. It's the young players that are coming in. And this past season, we saw our number one pick in 2015, Jahlil Okafor. In the beginning of the year, he showed some great stuff. And then there was the whole scandal about him fighting guys outside of a Boston bar that really set him back a little bit. I definitely think that scandal really messed with his psyche at the time, as I feel his development took a step back after that. Then there was also the rumors about his speeding tickets on the Ben Franklin Bridge, and then there was also the trading talks. It was a lot of drama for a guy who's just trying to handle the transition to the NBA. But if all this turmoil around the Sixers cools down, I feel as if Ja can continue developing, as we saw this season that he has a lot of potential to be a good big man in this league. He has a lot of post moves that veterans don't even have in the league, and I'm really excited to see what he can become. As far as Nerlens Noel, I think he definitely took another step forward. He continues to show his defensive prowess, which he has always had since college. I think his offensive game has improved a little bit, and he has shown a lot of energy and really sparked a lot of comebacks for the Sixers this season. I also feel as if he has embraced a leadership role with this young Sixers roster. The real question still is whether or not Ja and Nerlens can play together. I've said it all season long, and we did not really see it. Obviously, Ja got put on IR later on in the season, which really, we couldn't really see it at all after that. But we still really need to see whether or not Ja and Nerlens can play together. If Ja or Nerlens don't get traded, obviously. Now, one of the biggest offseason questions has to be Joel Embiid. Are we going to see him play? Is he going to have a long-term career in the NBA, not only with the Sixers? And we're really going to have to monitor this. It's been said that he's most likely not going to play in Summer League. He's most likely going to be playing later on in the regular season. So that, to me, is a big question, whether or not Joel is going to play. He has a lot of potential, and he's been dubbed as the next Hakeem Olajuwon. But with that foot injury, guys, I am not too confident that we will see Joel either A, play ever, or B, have the career we thought he would. As far as the rest of the roster, we all know what it is. It's a bunch of scrubs and a couple players that might have potential. And that's another key question. Who's going to stay and who's going to go? Now with Brian Colangelo as the GM, is he going to get rid of these D-League scrub type players and bring in more respectable vets on this team? That, to me, is a little worrisome. I don't want the Sixers to get back into the mode that we were for the last decade. Bring in mid-tier vets and hope we make the 8th seed and get eliminated in the first round. I don't want those type of players. I still want to continue developing, bringing in young players to create a young nucleus as these other championship teams are doing right now. I definitely do think that we will see guys like Ish Smith back, guys like Robert Covington back, guys like Jeremy Grant back. And Isaiah Canaan, I am not sure whether or not we will see. He's shown he has a jumper, but he takes too many bad shots and makes too many bad mistakes. I don't know how the front office feels about that, whether or not he is worthy enough to be kept. Guys like Nick Stauskas, a guy who I publicly said I do not like at all, has shown improvement. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not from his improvement from the second half of the season, whether that grants him back onto the roster. I have a tough time seeing TJ McConnell, Kendall Marshall, and Christian Wood, those guys, making the team back again next year. But what I am on board with is grabbing a couple free agents this summer, a couple of veteran free agents, mix them with these young players like a Noel, like a Embiid, like a Okafor, Ish Smith, Covington, Hollis Thompson, those type of guys, mixing them up with a couple of vets, seeing if that can help them develop a better NBA game. It's such a tough transition from college to the pros in any sport. It's tough to do it when you have nobody who's done it before and you're just learning on the go. And with the firing of Sam Hinkie, the future for Brett Brown looks very bleak right now. There's been rumors that Bryan Colangelo is not the biggest Brett Brown fan and could possibly go to Mike D'Antoni and bump him up as the head coach, as we all know that Bryan Colangelo and Mike D'Antoni have a history together. The Sixers lost a lot of games where they had the lead late in the games, and a lot of it has to do with some of the calls that Brett Brown did. But granted, he doesn't have the best roster in place to win a lot of games. But I'm pretty sure Bryan Colangelo in the front office is looking at that very, very, very deeply. But I, like many in Sixers Nation, do not want to see him go. I think he's a very good developer of young basketball players. He already has a chemistry in place with a lot of the players that we need to develop. I think it would be very detrimental to the Sixers if they let Brett Brown go. But the key event that all Sixers fans are looking forward to is the NBA Draft Lottery. Whether or not the NBA screws us over another year. It's also very crucial to see where our pick lands and whether or not that Lakers pick is in fact ours. Like I said in my Sam Hinkie firing video, the future is exciting. Although there's a lot of questions in place, the fact that we have a lot of draft picks, a lot of assets in place, it makes it exciting and makes us have hope in the fact that Sixers can turn it around soon. From Johnny Sports Talk, thanks for watching, guys.